Hey everybody, Josh here, back with another book review, and tonight I'm reviewing Outbreak: The Hunger. And I gotta tell you, I was really excited for this book when I found it on Amazon. It's kind of a different take on the zombie genre, and I love the zombie genre, and anytime somebody can do something a little different with it and freshen it up, fresh zombies, and freshen up the genre a little bit, I get excited for that and I want to read it. This book is by a guy named Scott Scheuer, and what he's done is he's taken the zombies and they're basically animals. They're hyper-aggressive, hungry animals. Tigers and lions and shit at a zoo, so the worst possible fucking place, for zombie to be during a zombie animal outbreak. That's where the bulk of the story happens. Before I get really deep into this review, I want to give you some of my perspective about when I read a book. I have a degree in creative writing. The last 2 years in college I spent mostly in workshops, workshopping fiction, science fiction, the cat just ran by, screenwriting workshops, poetry workshops. I workshopped and critiqued probably hundreds of manuscripts in the course of a couple of years. And now when I read, I'm workshopping, I'm critiquing. Wolfgang Iser said reading is only pleasurable when it is active and creative, and I really took that to heart. So when I read actively, and it gives me a more immersive experience when I'm reading. And that's really one of the reasons why it takes me so long to finish a book, is because I'm really experiencing the story as much as I possibly can. So let's get to the review. The book starts with a really interesting stylistic choice. It starts with a third-person present tense. So it's Jason, Sean, and their friend, whose name I don't remember, are in the woods. So this is, usually when you read it's, Jason stood behind the tree, blah, blah, blah. This is Jason stands behind the tree, which you don't see very often in fiction writing. You see a lot of first-person present tense, but third-person present tense you don't really see very much. Now that's how it starts, but I kind of think that originally when the author first wrote it, he wrote it in the first-person tense, because it kind of floats back and forth between the two. It'll be, Jason, Sean, and the other guy, and then the next line will talk about I, we, us. So I actually had to flip back and forth a couple times going, did I miss something? Who is the I? So that pulled me out of the story. And the story begins, the prologue is basically almost exactly the prologue from 28 Days Later, which the author actually points out. One of the characters thinks to himself, man, 28 Days Later started just like this. This is really bad. And I had kind of a fanboy moment. I appreciated that. It was a wink and a nod, and, it's not exactly breaking the fourth wall, but kind of, and I thought that was really cool. I thought it was a good choice. I like it when an author does a little callback to whatever material inspired them. I think that's really cool. Now, these three friends, they're college students / animal rights activists, and they're going to break into this facility and free the animals that are being experimented on. They're hiding behind a tree or something, and this says 10 to 15 feet away from this door, and they're watching the security camera pan back and forth, and they determine that they have 8 seconds to get from their hiding spot to the door without being seen by the security camera. And the first guy goes, and it takes him 6 seconds. Now, 10 to 15 feet in 6 seconds, I gotta think he meant 10 to 15 yards. But even then, when I was in high school and I was in way better shape than I am now, I ran a 40-yard dash in a little over 5 seconds, which is slow. So covering 15 feet in 6 seconds just really isn't realistically. I think he meant 10 to 15 yards, but even 15 yards in 6 seconds is probably not realistic, given that, professional athletes cover 40 yards in under 4 seconds. So 15 yards in 6 seconds, again, I don't know what the disconnect was there, but it pulled me out of the story. And combined that with the shifting back and forth in perspective between third person and first person, and right there my brain's going, all right, I'm in the prologue, and I'm finding things that bother me personally. so I'm not sure if I'm going to finish this book. Once you get through the prologue, it shifts to a different character. It shifts to John and his daughter Fee, and they're getting ready to go to the zoo because that's kind of their father-daughter thing. They go to the zoo once a month and they have father-daughter bonding time. And there's a part at the very beginning of the second chapter. "I want to buckle my own seatbelt, Daddy," she says as she climbs into the car. "And then I want to close the door myself." We go through this every time we get into the car. "All right, sweetie, just make sure you pull the door hard enough." If she pulls the car door, I give it a little push, unseen to her eyes, to make sure it closes properly. I can't help it. I'm an overprotective father. And there's nothing overprotective about that. That's just everyday stuff for a dad. It's not overprotective. She wants to feel like she can close the door. He knows that she really can't, so he gives it a little nudge and helps her. There's nothing overprotective about that, and it's at that point that I actually decided that I didn't want to keep reading. Because just the way my brain works when I'm reading, I pick out stuff like that, and I'm like, well, that's not overprotective. The 15 yards in 15 feet in 6 seconds, that doesn't really work. This book had a great deal of potential. It just didn't work for me just because of the way my mind works and my background in creative writing and my job. When it comes to reading, I'm a very analytical person. For my day job, I have to look at every single word and how it interacts with the words around it. Does it support the words around it? Does it contradict the words around it? So, I can't turn it off when I'm reading for pleasure, and I wouldn't really want to, because like I said, it's a much more immersive experience, I think anyway, when I'm reading a book. I think I get more invested in the story. So when I come across a story that pulls me out of it, so when I'm reading a story and my brain jumps out of it because it's analyzing something that doesn't quite line up, I have to decide, okay, do I want to keep reading? And on this one, unfortunately, I got a little ways into chapter 2 and I decided I didn't want to finish the book. Now, if you're really into horror novels and you're really into zombies and you want a different, fresh perspective on the zombie genre, this could be a good book for you. For me, it didn't really work, and I'm sad about that because I was excited for it. And this is the author's first novel, and although this one didn't really work for me, when he does publish another one, I think I'll give it a try. I think he has a lot of potential, so I'm excited to see what he does in the future. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, Anna and I have started doing our Saturday topics of the week again, so if you would, please give us a topic down in the comments. It doesn't have to be like zombie related or related to any of the other videos that we've done. It can be whatever geeky topic you feel like, whatever floats your geeky boat. Just put it down in the comments, we'll look through all of them, and then whatever one we feel like we can make the best video from, that's the one we'll use. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.